Once again, a very warm welcome to all of you who have joined in. I can see that we have a good level of participation. So, in the interest of time, let's get started. My name is Alpana, and I'm a counselor with One to One Help. I'm sure many of you are already familiar with One to One Help and the services we offer. Towards the end of the session, I will also quickly give you an overview about the services. But just to state briefly, so this is an EAP service, which is basically Employee Assistance Program service. So we provide services in the space of emotional and psychological well-being, and counseling is the main support service we offer, which is available in different modes. But apart from counseling, we also have a lot of resources available on our website, on our web portal, and also the app, which you can avail of. And the service is completely free of cost and it's completely confidential. Okay. I'm sure some of you have already attended some sessions that have been conducted previously, some of the webinars that have been conducted previously. So the format will pretty much remain the same. So there is a presentation, but we'll try and keep it interactive. So at different points, I'll ask you to share your thoughts, your comments, your experiences, and there are no right or wrong answers per se. You can, feel free to share your responses, and the more you share, it's going to be beneficial for the rest of us because we can learn from each other, right? So especially the topic we have for today itself, right? It's something that is, it's not certainly not something that only I can talk about. I wouldn't say that I'm the expert on this topic. It's a discussion. It's facilitating an inquiry that we are going to be doing. So the more you participate, it's going to be beneficial for all of us. Okay. So with that background, let's get started. When we talk about, meaning of life, it's such a profound, such a deep question, right? And different people have different views about it, right? And our views may be based on where we are in our life journeys. And so some people might, kind of even not want to think about something as deep or as profound as this, whereas some people may have these thoughts pretty frequently or engage in this inquiry pretty frequently, right? But the fact is that life is never static, right? It's not like it operates in a straight line. Rather, it's a series of ups and downs that keeps going on, isn't it? So, just a few expressions of, different ways in which life can be viewed depending on the kind of experience we're having. Like I said, depending on the stage or the phase of life we are in. And our views of life naturally change over a period of time as we experience life, its ups, its downs. So, yeah, just to begin with, okay. Okay, so let's move forward. They say as human beings, we are natural philosophers, and we've always, have wondered about what's the purpose of our existence, isn't it? And so think about it yourself, right? How often has this thought occurred to you, right? That who am I? What's the purpose of my life, right? Hasn't it occurred to you? So the reason is we all try to make sense of our lives. We try to give a meaning to our life, and the meaning we assign to our life has an impact on the way we choose to live our life, right? So, for example, if somebody says that you only live once, yeah, so it's called YOLO, I think, right? So then the life choices will be accordingly. If somebody believes that life is about collecting moral deeds, collecting more merits, so that our future life is not just one life, but it's a series of lives that we live, and our next life depends on our present life, how well we live our present life. So then the life choices will be different, right? So the important thing to remember is that, and I'm not saying that one meaning is better than the other or one meaning is correct than the other, but the fact is that it is important to create this sense of meaning, this definition for ourselves, and nobody else can do it for you, right? Only you can do it for yourself, to assign meaning to your own life. so that you can make more intentional choices about your life, right? So rather than living life on an autopilot mode, we're just doing things without even, mechanically doing things without even realizing or questioning why we are doing it, right? And that can be quite dissatisfying, right? It can be very frustrating. So rather, having this definition of our life and then making choices accordingly, intentional choices. Okay. So the next question, logical question that comes is, okay, then how do we create meaning in life, right? So is this meaning something that we are born with, or is it something that is influenced by our environment? So it's actually both. The way we view our life or the way we assign meaning to our life is influenced by the way we are genetically made up, and also the environment or the experiences that we've had. So there's this very beautiful book called as Man's Search for Meaning. Okay, it's by Viktor Frankl. And I don't know how many of you have come across that book, but I would definitely urge each one of you to read that book. It's a very profound, very powerful book. And it definitely is something that, will help you reflect on this question of what is the meaning of my life? What is the purpose of my life? Right? So meaning is very subjective, and it really depends on the way we experience our life. Like I said, right, based on certain kind of experiences that a person has, they may choose to view life in a certain way. So for example, somebody who's had very negative experiences, right, sees life as a series of misfortunes. They might view life in a particular way, that life is a struggle, life is unfair. Someone who is very conscious about the blessings of life, is very grateful for things that they have, may have a different way in which they view their lives, right? So nevertheless, we always are in this kind of quest to try to make sense of our lives, and the this meaning that we assign to our life can be based on our values, on our goals. It can be based on what we are passionate about. It can be about how we envision our lives, how we want to live our life. So for example, okay, someone's typed the name of the book, so thank you so much. So it's a very simple book, it's a very easy read. And to just state briefly what this book is about, so it's basically, the book is divided into two parts. The first part of the book talks about the author Viktor Frankl, who was a Holocaust survivor. So during World War II, we know that there were lots of brutalities that were inflicted on the Jew community, right? And so Viktor Frankl was a Jew, he was a doctor, and he went through 5 years of experience in concentration camps, and the worst concentration camps around Germany. And he talks about, in the first part of the book, he talks about his experiences in the concentration camp, and not just his experience, but what he saw around, right? And the second part of the book is about a form of therapy that he came up with, which he called it logotherapy, okay, which is meaning centered therapy. So basically, the book talks about how the most difficult circumstances of our life can actually teach us the most profound things. So it's about creating this sense of meaning in our life, in everything. So when we experience something very difficult in life, rather than asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Right? So that's really in a gist, talking about the book, and I'll speak more as we go along. So again, coming back to, assigning meaning to our life, right? We talked about goals, we talked about doing what matters to us. So for example, we may derive a meaning from reaching a certain professional goal, right? So somebody may want to start their own business, somebody may want to write a book, somebody may want to become a director of a company, right? Or it could be something that you're very passionate about, so contributing to a particular cause, like maybe environment or education or poverty. Or it could be pursuing a hobby or a dream, like maybe music. uh, so whenever your present life that you're living is in sync with the meaning that you've assigned to your life, right, we feel content, we feel satisfied because we feel we're on the right path, isn't it? But when we feel that my present life that I'm living right now is not in sync with the meaning and purpose that I've assigned or defined my life, we feel there's disconnect, there's discontentment, there's frustration. So, for example, recently I had a client who in counseling who said that he started by saying that I'm for the last 1 year I'm having lots of issues of anger and difficulty in sleep. Okay, so one of the first things I asked him is, okay, has anger been an issue in the past as well? Would you kind of if you describe yourself as a person, would you say that you've been a short tempered person? He said, no, I'm not. So we started talking more about it. And then finally, we came to understand that the underlying reason for his symptoms of anger or a sleep difficulty was because he was very dissatisfied with the life he was living. Right, he was living a corporate life, doing well, but inherently he wanted to do something else, and that was the reason he was feeling this kind of discontentment, which was also manifesting as stress. Okay, so coming to what is the benefits of being purpose driven in our lives. Okay, so very simple. From the example that itself that I just shared, it helps us to have better sense of well-being, right? When we feel content, when we feel satisfied, right, it obviously leads to better health, not just psychological health, but even physical health, because there's a strong mind body connection, right? So if we are going to be stressed, obviously that is going to impact the body because stress manifests in the body, right? And that's why we have so many stress related illnesses today or diseases today, like hypertension, diabetes, so on and so forth. Uh, so better health and well-being, of course. And also we have this sense that we are living life to the fullest extent, right? Not just that, waiting for one day to pass after another, just kind of killing time or doing time. So you have this sense of richness in your experience of life. And the other thing also that happens is that we feel strongly motivated, inherently motivated, to go the extra mile to achieve the goal, right? So, for example, you're very passionate about a particular cause, right? Maybe it's a volunteer work or it's a hobby, right? You don't need external motivation. Nobody is paying you for it, right? But you still want to do it, and you probably stay up all night for doing something, or you kind of work the whole day and you go hungry, you don't even realize, but yet at the end of the day you don't feel tired, you don't feel exhausted, in fact you feel more energized, right? So that sense of inherent motivation is very important. Okay, that benefit that we get. And of course, because of all of these things, it the natural I would say byproduct would be that it improves our relationships. When we feel good about ourselves, we spread the positivity, right? When we feel very negative, when we are frustrated and dissatisfied, what happens to our relationships? We become cranky, we become irritable, and the tension builds with people around us also. We make other people also miserable, right? But when we are satisfied with our life, we tend to view things also positive. On a day that you are in a good mood, right? Everything seems to be, you tend to take everything in your stride. Even if there's a lot of traffic on the road, you don't mind, you're smiling. uh, a colleague says something, you kind of say, you just say ignore it, maybe this person is in a bad mood, right? When we start seeing life positively, we feel very positive. Our perspective becomes very, very positive, right? We feel more grateful. So even in our relationships, we feel very grateful for what people are doing around us, right? Rather than looking at their faults, their mistakes, right? Which comes from a very negative mindset. We tend to look at their positives, right? And that also helps to improve our relationships. Okay. Now, a question. Now, somebody's asked, okay, how do we know the purpose? Again, if you read Viktor Frankl's book, uh, he says that rather than asking life, what is the meaning of my life, he says life is asking the question to you. Okay, what meaning do you want to assign to your life, right? So how do I know the purpose? We're going to do that exercise shortly. We're going to do a self reflection step by step. So it's about us to find, do a deep dive within ourselves and identify the purpose, okay, which we will be doing. But before that, let's look at the 5 pillars of meaning. Okay, what constitutes meaning in life? Okay, and we will explore this through a case study. Okay, and this is about Mahesh's life. Okay, and as you look at different aspects of Mahesh's life, uh, you will see that there's one pillar that has been identified. So these are the 5 pillars that influence the way we experience meaning in life. Okay, so belongingness, purpose, competence, control, and transcendence. So let's look at it one by one. So what does belongingness mean? So all of us, we are hardwired to have a sense of connection, right? Go back to the time of the pandemic and lockdown, when we were socially, we felt rather the social distancing and emotional isolation, how stressful it was for us, right? So it's not just about being physically present, but also emotionally feeling connected with other people, right? People around us, right? So having that sense of connection with other people, we feel that, oh, we matter to others, right? Very, very important. So, there's this difference between this term being alone and being lonely, right? We have this very important distinction. So what is being alone? Being alone is an external, it's a situation where you're alone, right? There's nobody around you. But being lonely is a psychological state, right? Where you may have people around you, but you may still feel lonely because you feel I can't relate to people around me. I don't feel like I belong to them. I don't feel people understand me. I don't feel people care for me, right? You may have a full family, like a full house at home, or lots of people around you, but you may still end up feeling lonely. And on the other hand, there may be somebody who may be living alone, maybe single, for example, and yet they may not be lonely, right? So that's just important side note that I wanted to give you about when talking about belongingness. Of course, the sense of purpose. Now, when we talk about purpose, it's basically future oriented. It's like a goal. Okay, it's an objective that we try to achieve. And when I say working towards a goal and objective, it's not being in a stressed manner. Okay, but it gives us a sense of drive. It gives us a sense of meaning, where we feel, okay, there is a sense of meaning to what I'm doing or why I'm doing something, right? Like, for example, for somebody, it could be family, it could be their children, right? So everything may feel worthwhile because all the struggle, all the hard work may feel worthwhile because you feel at the end of it, you're doing this for your children so that they can have a better future, right? So even going through a difficult time in life, if you feel that this pain or this struggle is going to give you something good outcome in terms of an outcome, like makes you a better person, then it actually gives you that encouragement or gives you that sense of drive. Okay, so that's purpose or the power of purpose. If you don't have the sense of purpose or the sense of why, very important, again from Viktor Frankl's book, have a strong why. Viktor Frankl's another very nice, very powerful statements throughout the book. And one very nice statement that he makes is, uh, man can tolerate anyhow, any particular condition, as long as he has a strong why, right? So as long as you know why you're going through this suffering, you're willing to tolerate that suffering, right? Um, so that's the importance of purpose, right? Then competence, of course, having a purpose is important, but you need to also have this feeling that I'm able to move towards this purpose or this goal. I'm able to do things, right? I have the skills, I have the competence or the qualities to be able to achieve this purpose or contribute towards this goal. So that sense of competence is also important. Otherwise, you may have a sense of purpose, but you may feel that, oh, I'm not capable. So then that doesn't help, right? Rather, that it makes you very frustrated and you start experiencing a sense of inadequacy and low self-esteem. Similar, quite related to sense of competence is a sense of control, right? A sense that our life or the decisions that we make in our life or the actions that we take in our life are very much uh, decided by ourselves. They are in our control, right? And that keeps us motivated. So rather than feeling helpless, rather than feeling fatalistic, I don't know which, because if you feel helpless and fatalistic and you say that, oh, nothing is in my hands, it's all luck and doesn't matter how much I try, it doesn't really help. You will feel very discouraged, demotivated from trying to put effort, right? But if you feel okay, maybe the outcome itself may not be in my control, but what is in my control is the effort that I put in. Right? My behavior, my actions, my decisions are in my control. Again, going back to Viktor Frankl's book, during his experiences in the concentration camp, he said that it was unimaginable suffering, that one went through. Right? It was the people there were treated so badly, right? But even in those harshest of conditions, Frankel says that there were two kinds of people. One kind of people, one set of people, or the majority, who gave up this sense of control and felt helpless, and they just reacted to whatever was happening. Right? They surrendered completely. But there was this small minority of people who maintained this sense of control. Control on what? How they choose to respond to the situation. So yes, they don't have freedom on what is happening to them, but they have the freedom to decide how they want to respond to what's happening to them. So they still maintain the sense of dignity within themselves. They still maintain the sense of humanity. So there were people who tried to help others, right? So for example, if there was somebody sick and that person needed extra food and they got very meager supply of food every day, this person would give up their share of food to this other person, right? So that was a choice, right? That's the sense of control that you have, which nobody else can take away from you. So again, Frankl says that no matter whatever conditions in your life, one thing that cannot be taken away from us is how we choose to respond in every situation, right? That choice we always continue to have. So either we can feel like a helpless victim, or we can feel like, yes, I still have control on what happens to me or how I choose to respond to what happens to me. And of course, finally, this term of transcendence, which is basically transcendence, basically, as the name suggests, it's feeling contented or connected with something that is beyond ourselves, higher purpose. It helps us to have a better perspective on life. So rather than getting, caught up with and bogged down by daily hassles or challenges of life, you look at, okay, what is this trying to teach me? Rather, I not get caught up with these small things. And how can I become a better person through these experiences? Right? The example I gave you about the book also just now, but it could be your daily life challenges also that you go through, and you feel, rather than getting caught up with those, you feel, okay, let me look at the bigger picture, right? What's the good that's coming out of it? Okay. So now coming back, question of, okay, how do we create meaning, right? So there are ways for us to build this sense of meaning and purpose in our life. So we're going to do it right now, and we're going to do it together. So just make sure that you have a pen and paper handy with you to write it down. And there will be a set, you will be do it step by step. So there will be set of instructions that I will give you. So let's go through this exercise. Like I said, it shouldn't be stressful. So it's a reflective exercise. And if you feel at some point it's getting too much for me, I feel overwhelmed or uncomfortable, you can just stop, right? And you can come back to it at a later point as well. Okay. So let's go through it one by one. Let's go with the first question. The first question is about highlights of your life, right? In the last 2 years. So they're happening in the last 2 years, okay, because they were very critical. What are some of the events that have really stood out to you or stood out for you in the past 2 years? Think back about these experiences. What are some of the events in the last 2 years that have stood out to you? That have had a positive or negative experience, okay? So just write down any events, right, that you went through in the last 2 years. It could be anything significant. So for example, having a baby, or getting a promotion, or the pandemic itself, or losing somebody you love, or traveling, or joining a hobby group, learning something new, anything. It could be positive or negative. So those who've written, maybe you can share it in the chat just for others to also, it's nice to share something which you're comfortable sharing, right? Any significant events that you've had. And if you feel that don't want to share with the rest of the participants, you can even mark it privately to the host, and it will just come directly to me. Okay, having your own house, promotion, having a baby. Okay, going to Jammu, losing 25 kgs, married, changing job. I had a baby, lost husband in COVID. Okay, in inner engineering program. Okay, thank you so much. Being a survivor, traveling with my family. Great. So thank you so much. Thank you for so much for sharing that. Okay, now let's move forward. Okay, now the next question is, what are your current personal strengths and weaknesses? So this is basically an assessment of yourself. Okay, so it doesn't have to be an exhausted list of personal strengths and weaknesses, but what do you think your most important strength is? Maybe you can write a couple of them, and you feel most important limitation that you have. Okay, I wouldn't want to use weakness as a word, but most important limitation that holds you back. Okay, so strengths, most important personal strength, and most important personal limitation that you have. So again, an example of strength could be, confidence. Somebody has said patience. uh, what else? Creativity, hope, optimism. Okay, great. Discipline. And similarly, limitation. It could be the opposite of it also. Negative thinking, low self-esteem, lack of discipline, right? So you can keep adding to the list even after the session. So this is just to get you started. Self-doubt, okay, overthinking, great. Now, the next thing is, what are the things that are going well for you? Now, this is more about things which are outside you, with things which are not so much in your control. So, what are some of the things that are going well for you, which are supporting you in your life currently? And what are some of the things that are unsupportive to you? Okay. So, someone said, okay, work from home, work life balance, family is supportive. So, yeah, it could be less pressure at work, or even having good health, family, friends. Okay. What are some of the non-helpful things? Okay. What are the things that are not helpful to you, which are holding you back? So again, it could be also having lack of family support, or it could be money issues, weak financial position, difficult financial position, time, okay, lack of time, overload of responsibilities. Okay, so now we have written that also. Okay, so we have looked at our own strengths and limitations. We have looked at our environment, things that are supporting us. Okay, health also. So having good health, or lack of good health, that could also be there. Having family issues, or some personal issues going on, that could also be going against us, or not being very supportive in the direction of finding meaning and purpose. Now, the next step is about setting intentions. And how you set your intention, it's basically by writing down your goals. So write down very clear and concise goals. You've heard this acronym SMART goals, right? SMART, SMART. Right. So anybody, what is it? What is the acronym SMART goals? Specific, measurable. Yeah. What does A stand for? Okay. Attainable, achievable. Yes. Realistic. R stands for realistic and T stands for time bound. Okay. So absolutely. So set goals, write down your goals, but try and be as specific and clear as possible. Right? Whatever goals you have. For example, it could be also somebody had mentioned negative thinking. So, develop skills to overcome the habit of negative thinking. That could be your goal. So be very specific. Don't just say, I want to, lose stress, or I want to, become healthy. Specifically, what do you want to do? So maybe you want to start a workout regime. You want to have a daily or a regular uh, routine for exercise, something like that. So what you would do in it, whether it's yoga or you would do physical activity, playing an outdoor sport, whatever it is. Okay, someone's asking, how do I find what is the goal in my life? Okay, so again, it requires some amount of introspection. It requires the previous parts which we did, looking at your strengths, looking at the limitations, looking at how the environment is supporting you, not supporting you. So all of those things also matter. Affirmation is basically positive statements that we say to ourselves. So usually, the mind, when we talk about self-talk, we always have this chatter going on in our head, isn't it? Constantly, there is this stream of conversation or rather voice that is going on in our head, right? And usually, this voice that we have in our head, is it positive or negative? Is it supportive or is it a critical voice? Yeah, your inner voice. Usually, it is very critical. It's always pointing out mistakes. It's always telling you what you're doing wrong, right? And when it's like having a critic around you, somebody who's constantly criticizing you, like your boss or your family member, you don't want to be around that person, right? But the thing is, you can get away from an external person who's critical. But how do you get away from this internal self-critic? How do you get away from that? Yeah, it's very powerful. It's much more powerful than an external critic. Yes, limiting beliefs. I can't do this. I won't be able to do this. I'm going to fail. I'm going to make a big fool of myself, right? So many negative statements that we constantly make. So to challenge these or to replace this negative self-talk or these limiting beliefs, we come up with affirmations, which are strong positive statements, which we repeat to ourselves. It's like a mantra. You say to yourself every day. I say 5 times in the morning, 5 times in the afternoon, 5 times in the evening. Preferably look at it, look at yourself in the mirror and say it aloud, right? Very simple statements. Okay, so it could be something like, okay, I am strong and capable. That could be an affirmation. Okay, I can do it. That can be an affirmation. I should live, not exist. Okay, I am happy, or I choose to be happy, or I deserve to be happy. Okay, or I choose to let go of my unhealthy habits. Okay, so it could be anything that resonates with you. Right? I am strong. I'm living with perfect health. Right? I'm always cared and supported for. So it could be all of these things that actually help you feel confident about yourself. The kind of encouragement you want from other people around you, which you may or may not be getting, that same encouraging voice that you can develop for yourself. Okay, life loves me. Okay, very nice. Okay, I am enough. Very powerful ones, right? So imagine saying this to yourself consciously every day. I trust myself. My life gets better and better. So many beautiful ones. All is well, right? So pick any which you feel really resonates with you, really appeals to you, right? And write it down and repeat this to yourself every day. Initially, it may feel very mechanical. It may even feel stupid. You mean, why am I doing this exercise, right? But as you continue to do it, it will start growing on you, right? You will, first of all, be able to memorize it. You don't have to look at the paper and say it. And as you keep repeating it, you'll start believing. It's like this negative voice that was there in your head, right? You started believing it because of repetition, right? Because again and again and again and again, you kept hearing it. So similarly, this positive voice, this positive statements, you'll start believing it, right? And that positive energy that it creates will be very, very helpful for you to move towards your goals, to keep you in a positive state of mind, right? Yes, muscle memory, like you said, right? So continue to do it like this. So if you've heard of Louis Hay, right, another very powerful author, You Can Heal Your Life, the book that she's written. And she talks about affirmations, and she says affirmations are like gardening. You plant a seed. So don't expect as soon as you plant a seed, there'll be a huge tree, blossoming tree coming out of it, and there'll be fruits. You have to wait. You have to be patient. You have to keep watering it every day, nurturing it every day. You can't just put a seed and forget about it and come back next year and say, oh, why is there no tree here? Right? Yeah. You can heal your life. You can heal your life. Okay? By Louis Hay is the name of the book. Okay. So affirmations, another very good source to identify affirmations. Okay. So identify your goals and your affirmations. So again, some of you can share your goals here, right? So that others can, get help from it. Okay, identify. It could be in your personal life, goals in your personal life. It could be about your health. It could be about your family. Okay, learn new skills, but again, be specific. What skill exactly? Maybe learn a new language, learn a new functional skill. Exactly define it. Be fit by next year, May. Okay, but again, define exactly what do you mean by being fit. Specific, measurable. So as you go along, you should be able to check whether you're progressing on your goal or not, right? Learn JavaScript. Okay, more specific, lose 10 kgs in the next 5 months. Okay, but again, you have to also be realistic. It should be achievable goal. So you have to think about, okay, getting an increment specifically. Meditate daily for 30 minutes. Excellent, excellent. Joining highest management team by 3 years. Great, great. Okay, so to be able to work towards these goals, we need motivation, we need encouragement, and these affirmations are going to be the fuel. It's like the petrol to take you to the destination. You need petrol to get to a destination, isn't it? So this is going to be very, very important. Okay. And finally, it's always nice to reflect, having these messages to yourself. This is similar to affirmation, but it's something that you would want to say to your future self. 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, even 1 year down the line, or maybe 1 month down the line, right? What is something you would want your future self to know? It's like being kind and compassionate towards yourself. So, saying something like what you look forward to. I look forward to and fulfill, and complete the statement. Maybe you can say, okay, I'm working now for you. Okay, very nice. I'm working hard for you so that you can have a good life. I look forward to being the best version of myself. I look forward to becoming a businesswoman. Okay. And the next, a message to your future self. It could be, okay, you are loved and cared for always. That could be a message that you want to give to your future self. Okay. So identify. Okay, what is it that you want to identify in terms of a message to your future self? I look forward to being a good leader. I'm laying the foundation now for you. Excellent. Okay, and add some final tips. Okay, I look forward to becoming an HR leader. I look forward to make you proud and regret free. Okay, very profound one. All right. All right. So now, as we come to close of this session, just some final few things that can be some tips or techniques that can help you create your own meaning. Okay, and you can go back to this kit. Okay, meaning kit as we call it. Every time you feel lost, you feel bogged down, right? You can refer to this kit. Okay, the first thing is always you start with evaluating your life in the sense of your goals, right? Your values, very important. A lot of times, the goals that we have are not in sync with our own values. These are the goals that we have set because others expect it from us, or it is socially valued. A lot of times I have people who come to me and say, oh, I never wanted to be an engineer, or I never wanted to be in this kind of job, or I didn't want to be married, or I didn't want to be a mother. So many things, right? So we choose our goals on the basis of what other people tell us, or we think. Sometimes it's not other people who are pressurizing us, but we impose this pressure on ourselves, thinking that, oh, if I achieve this goal, then I'll be valued by other people, I'll be loved by other people, right? But important thing is to be able to identify goals that are in sync with your own values that you want to achieve for yourself. Yeah, so yes, there will be a recording of this that will be made available, right? Yes. So there's a question that's coming. right? So first is so writing down, these goals, specific goals. So the SMART goals that we said, making it very specific, making it measurable, so that you can track the goal, you can track the progress that you're making, right? Time bound. So have a definition of time to it, rather than just saying I want to be healthy. Specifically, what are you going to do to be healthy? Okay, and the timeline for it, and how will you know that it, what is your definition of being healthy? Okay, so write down these goals and then work out steps to achieve your goal. So they say you can't do a goal, you can only work towards the goal in terms of actionable steps. So if you're going to say I want to be healthy, then what are the steps that you're going to take? Or I'm going to lose 5 kgs in 3 months, or 10 kgs in 3 months. Then how are you going to break it down into smaller steps? Suddenly at the end of 3 months you can't check, oh, did I lose 10 kgs? You will have to track it down, isn't it? So month by month or week by week, right? So 3 months, so four weeks per month, so 12 weeks. So every week, what is the step that you're going to take? What is the milestone that you need to achieve, and what are the specific steps that you're going to take? So maybe you have a workout regime, or a diet kind of plan, right, which you will follow every week. So things like that. Apart from that, surrounding yourself with people who energize you. People around us can be either energy givers or they can be energy drainers. Okay, so identify people around you. Who are they? People who really drain your energy, make you feel negative, discouraged, demotivated, bogged down? Or do they make you feel better about yourself? Do they make, when you let's say fail, or when you feel not confident about yourself, they actually give you sense of confidence, because they say they believe in you, they give you reassurance, they give you comfort at the end of a difficult day, and you feel reinvigorated, right? So having these people around you, and there are people like these around you, but you need to identify them, and you need to invest and reach out to them, right? Invest your time with them, invest in this, and nurture these relationships, again, both professionally and in your personal life. Practice gratitude, right? Again, gratitude is a very powerful emotion. You can't feel grateful and depressed at the same time. You can try that. Okay, when your attention is focused on things that are going well in your life, automatically the depression goes away, right? So gratitude is a very powerful emotion. And gratitude diary, keeping a gratitude journal or a gratitude diary, is something we recommend to patients who have clinical depression, right? Because it works as well as antidepressants, as medication, right, if done regularly. So just at the end of every day, just saying a thank you prayer, maybe, or just being doing this exercise. Okay, 3 things that I feel grateful for today. And it could be very simple things like eating my favorite meal, or talking to an old friend, or getting time to, listen to my favorite music, whatever it is. Or something more profound like the good health that I have, or a loving family that I have, or a secure job that I have. Yeah. So again, that gives you the energy, it gives you the fuel to continue moving forward, right? Because you feel good about where you are. And of course, finally, staying aligned with a cause that matches your philosophy of life, right? Because when life is not in sync, I mentioned this earlier as well, when life is not in sync with what you really believe, or what you really feel inspired by, life will always feel like, it's like you're swimming upstream. There'll be a lot of resistance, there'll be a lot of frustration, discontent. Even if you achieve a lot of success from uh, from the terms or from the perspective of the world, you may still be unhappy with it. You may still feel empty inside, right? So identify what is it that really means, what is important to you, right? And align with that, even if the world doesn't think much of it, right? Because over time, they will come to realize, people who matter to you will come to realize that, yes, this makes you happy, this makes you truly who you are, and they will be happy for you. Okay. All right. So that brings me to the end of the topic for today, but just finally, just reiterating, or, giving you an overview of the services. So counseling is available in different formats. We have video counseling, we have telephone counseling, we have chat counseling, we have email counseling, which you can avail of, and it's free of cost, it's confidential. And you can avail counseling for any kind of issues. It doesn't have to be a mental health issue or a severe crisis. It could be even, for example, defining your goals, defining your purpose in life, having a healthy lifestyle. It could be work-life balance. It could be a parenting concern. But apart from counseling, we also have a lot of resources on our website, which you can go through. We have self-help library, which has got lots of articles on different topics. You just go through the self-help library or take interesting self-assessments, which can help you develop better self-awareness, get a better understanding of yourself. Because to bring about positive change in ourselves, we need to know where we are first, what I need to change. So these self-assessments can be very useful, and they're very quick, less than 5 minutes time it takes, and you get the report immediately. So you can make use of this. So yes, please do, those of you who have not registered with us, you can register on our website, one-to-one-help.net. Reach out to us on the contact numbers that are mentioned here in case you have any difficulty accessing the website or registering yourself, or if you want to book a counseling one-on-one consultation. Someone's asked, will counseling be done for my kid on health-related type 1 diabetes? So yeah, if the service is open for your family, then you can take the benefit of counseling for family members, including for your spouse. But since it's a parenting concern, you yourself can reach out for counseling along with your spouse for this particular concern. Yeah, so yes, you can avail of this service. For registering, you have to put in your official email address. But after you register and you log in for the first time, you can change the email address that is linked to your one-to-one help account to your personal email address. So you don't have to worry about your one-to-one help correspondence being tracked by your organization. Okay. Some people are asking about PPT. So we will not be able to share the presentation with you, but yes, the recording will be available. So yeah, that can be shared with you. Yes, so thank you so much, everyone, for joining in for this session. And again, once again, apologies for the technical glitch that we faced. And thank you for staying cooperative and patient. And thank you for your wonderful participation. I think this was very, very enriching for all of us, including myself. So thank you once again, everybody.